Good morning. Good morning. And welcome to church this morning. It's nice to see you here today. My name is Kathy Torgerson, and usually I attend the 8:30 service, so I don't recognize many faces. But I'm a member of Jack Nicklaus Women, and today is UMW Sunday. And so I'd like to welcome you here today, and will you please stand as you're able, and we'll do the call to worship. That's good. There we go. Okay, please join me. We've come to worship God,
who loved us before we were yet born,
who knows us better than we know ourselves,
whose presence never leaves us.
and whose love for us never ceases.
This is our God.
And now, next one.
All right, we invite you to keep standing and sing along with us as we rejoice. Hello, my name is. Whoa, 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 until my name is I'm pretty sure we have met. It's together tonight. The whisper inside won't let you forget. You know my name is Defeat. I know you recognize me. Just when you think you can win, I'm ready right back down again. You lost all of me. These are the voices, these are the lies, these are the meanings, very last time. Hello, my name is John, the one true king. I say God can change, I can be set free. Amazing grace, the song I sing. Hello, my name is John, the one true king. Oh, I am no longer defined. I have a refuge behind. The one who makes all things new is true. Can't forget my life. Hello, my name is John, the one true king. I would say God can change, I have been set free. Amazing grace, the song I sing. Hello, my name is John, the one true king. Oh, 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 would you love Father established on us? We should be called His children. I am the child of the one true King. What love Father established on us? We should be called His children. Hello, my name is Child of the one true King. I would say God changed, I have been set free. Amazing grace, the song I sing. Hello, my name is Child of the one true King. Oh, 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 I am the child of the one true King. Oh, 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 all right, join us in everything's a verse. The day is brighter, the night is lighter, the You made everything glorious, and I am yours. What does that name mean? My eyes are small, but they can see the beauty of the broken streets, which leads me to believe there's light in the sea. That you make everything glorious. You make everything glorious. You make everything glorious, and I am yours. Glory, glory, you are glorious. You are glorious. Glory, glory, you are glorious. You are glorious. Which leads me to believe. Why can't we believe? You make everything glorious. You make everything glorious. You make everything glorious, and I'm yours. Glory, glory, glory. Glory, you are glorious, you are glorious, you are glorious, you are glorious, you make everything glorious, you make everything glorious, you make everything glorious, I'm yours.
Would you remain standing for the innocent prayer, please? Holy One, join me, please. Holy One, make your presence known in this room. Move about the pews between each of us, passing through the heart of each of us. Remind us all. Remind us that
All of us here
and beyond
are your beloved, created in your image.
we are your people, holding your essence with us.
Help us to connect with you and with one another during this time of worship.
Amen. And now it's kids' time.
If you watch, you might see your own face up there on the screen sometime. I've been taking pictures with children's church and Wednesday night and Sunday school and putting them up on the screen so that everybody here in church can see all the fun stuff we do downstairs since you don't come see us. Which you're totally welcome to do anytime. We have goldfish. Anyway, how are you? Are you good? Yes? Awesome. Hey, I was wondering if you've ever looked at your fingerprint. Have you ever looked at your fingerprint before? So here's some fingerprints of people that we had this morning, and it didn't turn out very good. So I'm gonna squish this a little bit, switch it a little bit. I want you to take your magnifying glass, and I want you to look at your fingerprint. Are you ready? Fingerprint. Ready? Catch. Oh, that was a bad throw. Catch. Now catch for Colton. Okay, so use the magnifying glass and look at your fingerprint. Do you see anything? Do you see the designs on your fingers? Now look at a different finger. Do you see fingerprints there too? Now take a neighbor's finger. So now let's look at Jesse's finger. Look on Jesse's finger. Or look at your neighbor's finger. Do they have the same fingerprint as you? No, they don't. Why? Oh, yours isn't a very good magnifying glass. Well, here's the thing. All of our fingerprints are totally different. God made us beautiful and different. And God started with our fingerprints. We're all different. Yes. So not only are our fingerprints different, but God made us all different and special too. Whether it's the gifts that God gave us to do, or maybe the things that we're good at, we're all different and we're all special. But I really think it's unique that we all have different fingerprints and that God had that many different types of fingerprints that everybody has a different one. Isn't that amazing? Sure it is, Miss Sarah. Cool. Awesome. Thank you, audience. I think you're more awake than these people up here. All right. So let's say a prayer, and then we'll go talk more about it in Sunday school. Children's church is what I have to say. Okay, ready for our hands together? I know my room is off. All right. Dear God, thank you so much for making us all special and unique, different. And thank you for all those gifts and help us to see those so that we can shine when we go out to grow and show people those wonderful gifts and just love everybody for the way they are. In your name we pray. Amen. All right, if you want to go to children's church, you can be at the top of the stairs, please. All right. Thank
It's so unusual, it's frightening. You see right through the mess inside me. And you call me out, pull me in, you tell me I can start again. I don't need to keep on hiding. I'm fully loved, loved by you. You won't let go, no matter what I do. And it's not one or the other. It's hard to believe this grace is known. Fully known, loved by you. Fully known, loved by you. It's so like you pursuing. It's so like me go straight from. You got my heart with you true. And I love is bulletproof. And I surrender to your kindness. I'm fully known and loved by you. You won't let go. That's what I do. And it's not one or the other. It's hard to ridiculous grace to know. Fully known, loved by you. Fully known, loved by you. I really know why how it's your heart. I cannot find the reasons why you give me so much. How real, how wide, how rich, how high is your heart. I cannot find the reasons why you give me so much. Fully known and loved by you. You won't let go, no matter what I do. And it's not one or the other. It's hard to the ridiculous grace to be known. Fully known and loved by you. Fully known and loved by you. It's so unusual, it's frightening. I'm fully known and loved by you.
before his words. Would you pray with me? Heavenly Father, we come before you today with hearts filled with gratitude for all the blessings you have given us. We are grateful for our families and friends, for our church and our community. We are grateful for our country and the beautiful Black Hills. But mostly, we are grateful because you love us like we are. Please help us to see your work in everything that happens, the good and the bad. Help us to understand that your love is unconditional. Give it to us just because you created us and love us in ways that are hard to comprehend. Help us to deal with those around us with your kind of love and patience, and to look to your guidance as we walk through this life. Help us to pray as you taught our disciples to pray, saying, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Good morning. My name is Judy Munsell, and I am here because it is United Methodist Women's Sunday. And we try to do this once a year. It's been kind of interrupted because of COVID, but here we are, once again, trying to be normal in our lives. All right, we have a program book, and it's available. I think there's still one more out there, but if you don't get one today and you want one, let us know. Let the church office know and we can get you one. So what this has in it is the United Methodist Women's purpose and our vision, and more importantly, it has a calendar of events. So if you want to come to something or you want to support us in some of our efforts, all of the money that we collect goes to different mission projects here in Rapid City. Most of it goes to Mommy's Closet and Wealthily and Love Inc. and other places that need our support. So this is what we do. We are in this to help women. United Methodist Women is the oldest organization for women in the United States, church women. And it's been around for over 150 years. And we support women's projects all around the world. So this is what we do. So grab a book if you can think about it and help to support us. We're also selling love ribbons out there. Let me tell you about the love ribbons. I gotta read it because I don't know what exactly. I'll find it. Really, I don't. Okay, here's love ribbons. These ribbons are available at certain meetings, UMW bookshelves, or for the UMW treasurer, who is Marilyn Saines. The cost is $1 each. The money that we receive goes to finance children's projects in the Dakota Conference. We can support this project by giving love ribbons throughout the year to tell people they are special and give them a hug. Fist bumps work too. So that's what the love ribbons are for. We chose some scriptures for today. I'm going to start with Psalms. Psalm 139, verses 14 through 16. This is written by David, way before Jesus was born. And so he says, thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvelous, how well I know it. You watched me as I was being formed in utter seclusion, as I was woven together in the dark of the womb. You saw me before I was born. Every day of my life is recorded in your book. Every moment was laid out before a single day passed. And then from Thessalonians, this is Paul writing to the church in Thessalonica. And he says in verse 4, for we know, brothers and sisters loved by God, that he has chosen you. So we are picked, we are chosen. I didn't know if you knew that, but it's important to know that we are like that. And I have a book I'm going to read to you. The pictures are going to be on the screen. It's called You Are Special, and it was written by Max Lucado. And this is kind of the topic that we have for today's message. This is about the Winnocks. The Winnocks were small wooden people. All of the wooden people were carved by a woodmaker named Eli, and his workshop sat on a hill overlooking their village. Each Winnock was different. Some had big noses, and others had large eyes, and some were tall, and others were short, and some wore hats, and others wore coats, but all were made by the same carver, and they all lived in the village. And all day, every day, the Winnocks did the same thing. They gave each other stickers. Each Winnock had a box of golden star stickers and a box of gray dot stickers. And up and down the streets and all over the city, people spent their days sticking stars and dots on each other. The pretty ones, those with smooth wood and fine paint, always got stars. But if their wood was rough or the paint was chipped, the Winnocks gave dots. The talented ones got stars too. Some could lift big bags of sticks, big sticks about high above their heads, or jump over tall boxes, and still others knew big words or could sing pretty songs, and everyone gave them stars. Some Winnocks had stars all over them. Every time they got a star, it made them feel really good. It made them want to do something else to get another star. Others, though, could do very little, and they got dots. Punchinello was one of these. He tried to jump high like the others, but he always fell. And when he fell, the others would gather around and give him dots. Sometimes when he fell, his wood got scratched, and so the people gave him more dots. And then when he would try to explain why he fell, he would say something silly, and the Winnocks would give him more dots. After a while, he had so many dots that he didn't even want to go outside. He was afraid he would do something dumb, such as forget his hat or step in the water, and then people would give him another dot. In fact, he had so many great dots that some people would come up and just give him a dot for no reason at all. He deserved lots of dots. The wooden people would agree with one another. He is not a good wooden person. After a while, Punchinello believed him. I'm just not a good Winnock, he would say. The few times he went outside, he hung around other Winnocks who had lots of dots, because he felt better around them. Then one day he met a Winnock who was unlike any he had ever met. She had no dots or stars. She was just wooden. Her name was Lucia. It wasn't that people didn't try to give her stickers. It's just that the stickers didn't stick. Some of the Winnocks admired Lucia for having no dots, so they would run up there and give her a star, but it would just fall right off. Others would look down on her for having no stars, so they would give her a dot, but it wouldn't stay on her either. Ooh, that's the way I want to be, thought Punchinello. I don't want anyone's marks. So he asked the stickerless Winnock how she did it. Oh, it's easy, she said. Every day I go see Eli. Eli? Oh, yes, Eli, the wood carver. I sit in the workshop with him. Why? Well, why don't you just go and find out for yourself? Go up the hill, he's there. And with that, the woman who had no stickers turned and skipped away. But no one wanted to see me, Punchinello cried out. Lucia didn't hear him. So Punchinello went home and sat near a window and watched the wooden people as they scurried around giving stars and dots. It's just not right, he muttered to himself, and he decided to go see Eli. He walked up the narrow path to the top of the hill and stepped off into the big shop. His wooden eyes widened at the size of everything. The stool was as tall as he was. He had to stretch on his toes to see the top of the workbench. A hammer was as long as his arm. Punchinello swallowed hard. Ooh, I'm going to stand here and return to me. And then he heard his name. Punchinello. The voice was deep and strong. Punchinello stopped. Punchinello, how good to see you. Come and let me have a look at you. Punchinello turned slowly, and he looked at the large, bearded craftsman. You know my name? The little Winnock asked. Well, of course I do. I made you. Eli stooped down and picked him up and set him on the bench. The maker spoke loudly. He looked at all the gray dots. Looks like you've been given some bad marks. I didn't mean to, Eli. I really tried hard. Oh, you don't have to defend yourself to me, child. I don't care what the other women think. You don't? No, you shouldn't either. Who are they to give stars their dots? They're women just like you. What they think doesn't matter, Punchinello. All that matters is what I think. And I think you're pretty special. Punchinello laughed. Me? Special? Why? I can't walk fast, I can't jump. My pain is feeling. Why do I matter to you? Eli looked at Punchinello, and he put his hands on those small wooden shoulders and he spoke very slowly. Because you are mine. That's why I matter to you. Punchinello had never had anyone look at him like this, much less his maker. He didn't know what to say. Every day, I have been hoping that you would come, Eli explained. I came because I met someone who had no heart, said Punchinello. I know, she told me all about you. Well, why don't the stickers stay on her? The maker spoke softly. Because she has decided that what I think is more important than what they think. The stickers only stick if you let them. What? The stickers only stick if they matter to you. The more you trust my love, the less you care about the stickers. Oh, I'm not sure I understand. Eli smiled. You will, but it will take time. You've got a lot of marks. For now, just come and see me every day and let me remind you how much I care. Eli lifted Punchinello off the bench and set him on the ground. Remember, Eli said as the women walked out the door, you are special because I made you, and I don't make mistakes. Punchinello didn't stop, but in his heart he thought, I think he really means it. And when he did think that, a dot fell to the ground. If you're interested, this is Matt's Cottle book. He's an awesome author. See, I think the women look a lot like we do. In fact, I could have been Punchinello because when I was about 6 or 7 or 8, I had decided that God didn't want me. I could never get to him because I told my mother a lie. And that excluded me because I had lied. That made me a sinner. So there would be no way that I could ever get to heaven. And I told my mother about this worry. I kind of was a childhood worrier. And so maybe that was the reason she took all 3 of us girls and gave us a lesson one time. My mother was a very wise woman. And we lived out on Thunderview Creek. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but it's just a little bit north of Faith, in between Faith and New Creek. And it's a big butte, and you can kind of see it from Highway 20 that runs east and west, from Faith to Isabel, or you can see it from Highway 65, which goes from New Creek to Isabel. And it's kind of off there, sticking up out of the prairie. Anyway, we lived on Thunderview Creek, and there was, along the creek, there was all kinds of plum thickets. And Mother would take us down, and we would pick plums in the summertime, and she would make jelly out of them. And we looked forward to that. So we were all picking plums one day, and we each had a bucket, and we filled our buckets, and we were on our way back to the house, which stopped under this huge cottonwood tree. Now, if you go along the creek here in Rapid City, you're going to see cottonwood trees, and they're massive. And they have these huge high branches, and they have all these little rustling leaves. And when the wind goes through, they kind of clatter to each other, and they're messy. They drop them on the ground, and branches fall off, all kinds of stuff, but they are enormous trees. And in the summertime, they're full of leaves. I mean, we're talking a huge canopy of leaves there. And so Mother stopped with us girls, and we were underneath the canopy of that tree, and she said, okay, girls, I have a challenge for you. I want you to see if you can find 2 leaves that are exactly the same under this tree. And there was just thousands of leaves on the ground. So we were running around, and we'd pick up a couple leaves, and we'd look at them and think, that's close, that's close. We'd take them to Mother, and she said, no, look, this vein goes off this way and the other one has a vein that goes off a different way. So those aren't the same, so we go back and look again, and pretty quick, we got the idea, never ever gonna be able to find two exactly the same. I mean, you look up in the tree and there are like thousands of leaves, and you think, there's no two the same, that's ridiculous. And so she said to us, she said, well, how do we make this tree? And he made every leaf different. And you're looking down the creek and there's like 5 more trees down, just the same. And she said, God made you too. And he made you different too. So you have something special because God made you like love. And he doesn't make junk and he doesn't make mistakes. So you're like you are because you're supposed to be like that. And, you know, I'm sure this was her lesson to us. And, you know, as an 8-year-old, it just went whoosh, right over my head. But as I got older and got married and had children, suddenly I thought, this was pretty profound. And she also did another thing for me when I was little and the cottonwood trees were all down there. She would say to me, because I was a worrier and I would tell her all my worries, and in order to get me to shut up, she would send me down to the creek and say, tell it to the trees. You know, God's down there listening, go ahead and tell it to the trees, because I'm pretty sure she was sick of it. Anyway, so I did. I would go down there and pour out all my troubles to the trees. And the trees are great listeners, but they don't respond a whole lot. And so when you hear these words coming out of your mouth, all of a sudden that problem doesn't seem quite as big as it did when it was rattling around in your head and growing bigger by the second. So I didn't think about this until later when I grew up, got married, and had children of my own, and I'm going, oh, well. But by then I had acquired lots of balance because the world is telling me all the time, I'm not good enough, I'm too fat, I'm too old, I'm too whatever, to do whatever I'm supposed to do. And God is saying, no, you're mine. I love you like you are. Nobody loves me like I am, but God does. That is the most amazing thing in my life. And you kind of get it figured out later on that he loved you like you are. You are the way you are because you're supposed to be that way. And so I think that's what Mother was trying to tell us. That I don't have to be worthy in the world's eyes. I don't have to have enough money or wear the right clothes or say exactly the right things. I can make mistakes. It's okay. Because God knows who I am. He made me. This also applies to you. He made you. And he made you like you are. Because he wants you like that. If you're good enough for him, then you're good enough for the rest of us. See, we're in the world, but we're not supposed to be of it. And if we belong to our Creator, and we care more about what he thinks than what the world thinks, we don't have to be afraid to love each other unconditionally, without judgment. We don't have to be afraid that what we say is going to be the wrong thing. God will give you the words, just like he's doing with my mouth right now. We can trust him to keep his promises. He promised us in Matthew 28, he said, I will be with you always, even to the end of the age. He's talking to his disciples. He's still with us. He's always with us. And he still loves us. Isn't that just incredible? Man. So you and I can trust him for all the rest. We don't have to be a certain way. And this is what the Apostle John wrote in 1 John 4, 7-12. Dear friends, let us love one another, for love comes from God. Everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God. And whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. This is how God showed his love among us. He sent his one and only Son into the world that we might live through him. This is love. Not that we love God, but that he loved us. First, he loved us. He loved me before I was born. He knew me before I was born. He knit me together in my mother's womb. He did that for you too. Dear friends, since God so loved us, we also ought to love one another. No one has ever seen God, but if we love one another, God lives in us, and his love is made complete in us. We have two commandments: to love God with all our heart and soul and mind, and to love each other like he loved us. That's our two commandments. Let's go out from here and live so that others will know who God is because of what we say and do. Not just today, but like every day. Not just Sunday, but in the grocery store, at the car wash, everywhere we go, everyone we meet, we want them to know who God is because of how we act and how we do it. We can ignore the dots. They don't matter. Stars don't matter either. But God matters. And he loves you already. Amen.
Amen.
There's got to be more. It's gonna matter more. From doing right to wrong. We were taught that to be hard. Marking line. You know I'm doing right. And that's what you do. Been like a hero who takes the stage when we're on the edge of our seat, saying it's too late. Let me introduce you to amazing grace. No matter the bumps, no matter the bruises, no matter the scars, still the journey is a process, baby, process, baby, you are it. No matter the hurt or how you wounded, no matter the pain, still the journey is a process, baby, process, baby, you are it. Could it possibly be that we simply believe that this unconditional kind of love will be enough? If the direction is right love and righteousness, that's exactly what it is. No matter the bumps, no matter the bruises, no matter the scars, still the truth is a process, baby. The process, baby, you are it. No matter the hurt or how the wounded, no matter the pain, still the truth is a process, baby. The process, baby, you are it. Take a breath, smile, and say, right here, right now, I'm okay. Cross was enough. No matter the bumps, no matter the bruises, no matter the scars, still the truth is a process, baby. The process, baby, you are it. No matter the hurt, or how you wounded, no matter the pain, still the truth is a process, baby. Process, baby, you are it.
Okay, there's some announcements that I have to make. So, Food for February is taking the place of food baskets at Christmas this year. So we will send around a bucket next week So bring your dollar bills, or your $10 bills, or whatever. The Lenten book study, which is good enough, is $10, so you can reserve your copy by contacting Dr. Brett. And the office will be closed for President's Day tomorrow, so there won't be anybody here. And please fill out your contact card. There's an offering basket on the left-hand side as you go through either door. And so you can put your offering in there if you're so inclined. And we need to remember to go out here and be the children of God. Do we have more pins? No? Oh, okay. So every UMW Sunday, we usually give out recognition pins from our women in our group who participate in UMW and who need recognition. So Bev Rob is going to present some.
I'm Bev Robin. I'm a member of the United Methodist Women since I was very young, which was a long time ago. As Judy said, each year we try to find people or want to recognize people and appreciate the work that they've done either in our unit or in the church as a whole. And this year we have chosen to honor our own president and leader by giving her our special recognition. Judy has been our president for the last 3 years, which means that she's led us through the pandemic and has kept our unit active and working. And believe me, this is an important issue because there are a lot of units that are closed down just because of the pandemic. She always encourages us in our spiritual growth and growth in accepting our place in the family of God. As you noticed this morning, she's a good leader. So Judy, we want to give you this pen. We feel that you very genuinely deserve it. That's the I'm going to try to turn this on. My fingers are trying to go.
That's okay. No, it's okay. She didn't get it to my screen.
Thank you.
This is pretty awesome. Thank you so much. I work with a tremendous group of women. The talent is just unending, and you know the neatest thing about it is when you ask them to do something, they always say yes, they will, and you don't hear no a whole lot. So you know the thing that if you want to be part of something really special, join United Methodist Women. Come to Brunch Bunch, pick up a book, look at the calendar, and join us because we support one another. And I have felt it all along. Would you stand for the blessing, please? May the God who formed you bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord surround you with his grace and give you his peace. Amen.
Amen.
No matter the bumps, no matter the bruises, no matter the scars, still the truth is process me, the process made you flawless. No matter the hurts or how you the wounded, no matter the pain, still the truth is process me. The process made you flawless. No matter the bumps, no matter the bruises, no matter the scars, still the truth is process made. The process made you flawless. No matter the hurt or how you the world is, no matter the pain, still the truth is process free. Process free to daughters. Have a great meeting, everyone.
Have a good day. Yeah, it was good.